Welcome to the platform of the truth of the matter. We are coming to you from Biafra Television, London. The truth of the matter is a program designed to disseminate information to the public on the issues that are surrounding the Biafra restoration process and the Biafrans. We tell you the truth, not the lies. People are asking questions why the people of Biafra want Biafra out of Nigeria. Many Biafrans have been killed in Nigeria, yet the people of Biafra are coming out demanding the restoration of the sovereign state of Biafra. And the world is asking questions why the indigenous people of Biafra really are determined to go out of Nigeria. Therefore, the topic today we are treating is why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. We are going to look into it in three perspectives: the political point of view, economic point of view, and the religious point of view. Right now, we are going to talk on why we want Biafra out of Nigeria on the political point of view. We want the world to look at the map of Africa from 16th century to 19th century. You will see Biafra in the map of Africa. You will not see Nigeria. That means Biafra had been in existence before the creation of Nigeria in 1914. We want the world to look at the amalgamation document of 1914 that brought the South and the North together, and they later called it Nigeria. Whether this amalgamation document is still valid or not. The Nigerian government and their security operatives have failed in their priorities to protect the lives of Biafrans and their property in Nigeria. Therefore, we are not safe in Nigeria. How about the political injustice that are coming from Nigerian government? The people of Biafra are facing political injustice in Nigeria. How about political marginalization? The people of Biafra are facing political marginalization in Nigeria. If you go to Biafra land, you will not see any international presence in Biafra land. Ethnic cleansing is a very big problem to this civilized world. That ethnic cleansing is going on in Nigeria against the people of Biafra, which we all know that ethnic cleansing is against modern age, it's against democracy, and it's against humanity. Military occupation is going on in Nigeria against the Biafrans. If you go to Biafra land, you will see military men of Nigeria everywhere in Biafra land intimidating and harassing the people of Biafra. How about the political structure laid down by Nigerian government put together with their religious intolerance for a particular agenda to enslave the people of Biafra perpetuity? The people of Biafra also being betrayed by the Nigerian government, because Nigerian government always annulled anytime we have national treaty or agreement, they will annul it. Fact, look at the Aburi Accord agreement. It was annulled by the Nigerian government. How about the 3 Arabs? After the war, it was annulled by the Nigerian government. Therefore, the people of Biafra have seen this as a betrayal to their fate in Nigeria. There are a lot of issues which Mr. Karl Agu, who is here with me, are going to elaborate and make his contributions on the reasons why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. That is the political point of view, why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. So here I am here with Mr. Karl Agu from Idebo Biafra, who is here to tell the world exactly the reasons why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. That's the political point of view, why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. And Mr. Karl Agu, the people of Biafra are agitating. The people of the world are asking questions. Why the people of Biafra really want Biafra out of Nigeria? What do you have to tell the world? That is your own perspective, why you want Biafra out of Nigeria.
Hello viewers, I thank you once again today for finding time to be with us on this program. Before I go on to tell you the reasons why we need Biafra, the reasons are quite unlimited. But I'll have to start from the foundation of Nigeria. In the year 1846, a man called Hope Waddell Matterton, he came from Scotland with his entourage, the Christian missionaries. They arrived the shores of West Africa. Precisely, they were invited by the chiefs of Calabar, whereby Hope Waddell and his entourage, they arrived and they established Christendom by opening the Presbytery of Biafra in 1846. That is to tell you that Biafra has existed for thousands of years before the arrival of these missionaries. Then, in the year 1895, the Royal Niger Company that were transacting their businesses at the shores of West Africa, they sold their holdings to the British government at the cost of 865,000 British pounds in the year 1895. That is to tell you that Nigeria as a geographical location was sold by the Royal Niger Company to the British government in the year 1895. That is to tell you that when the British arrived to West Africa, they met the people of Biafra with their unique civilization. The British, when they arrived to West Africa, they met the people of Biafra with their culture and their value system, which is unique to them. Now, coming to the question why we need Biafra because Nigeria itself is a fraud. Because the amalgamation of the Northern and the Southern Protectorate that was later named Nigeria on January 1st, 1914 was not done out of the consent of the inhabitants of the land. That is to tell you that the people of Biafra, who had existed for so many thousands of years, were amalgamated with people who have different value system and the way of life. And this was done without due consultation or due representation or without due consent of the people that lived in that land. That is very wrong. These are the reasons why we want to leave the fraudulent enclave called Nigeria. As we are talking about the political reasons, the reasons are too numerous to discuss on this platform, but as time will permit us, we would like to use this opportunity to tell the world that before 1960, precisely in the year 1953, when the British were preparing to let the Africans go of their independence, the British government conducted a census whereby they skewed the figures to favor the North, whereby the British government, they planned to give the authority to the Fulanese who resides in the North in order to control the Biafra people. This is the reason why we want to extricate ourselves from this contraption called Nigeria, because Nigeria is the creation of man. Nigeria was created by Frederick Lugard. Nigeria, the name itself, has no meaning in our lexicon. The name Nigeria has no meaning in Igbo lexicon. the name Nigeria has no meaning in Hausa lexicon. The name Nigeria has no meaning in Yoruba lexicon. That is to tell you, to tell the public that the name Nigeria is a strange word. These are the reasons why we want to exit from Nigeria. Mr. Moderator, I think I'll hold my peace where I come again.
I would like you to answer my question. I have a question to ask you based on your contribution. When you asked that Royal Niger Company sold Nigeria at about
865,000 British pounds.
All right, 865,000 British pounds to the British government.
Yes, in 1895.
So who were the people? Who were the people behind this Royal Niger Company?
The Royal Niger Company is also a British company.
Okay, so they handed Nigeria over to their government.
Yes.
Okay, so
after exploiting our resources.
Okay. The people of Biafra, we want to leave Nigeria because the value we share are not the same. The North and the West have different value system with the people of Biafra. The people of Biafra have different value system if you check the North, if you check the West. So the value we share are not the same.
They are not.
And this is endangering the life of the people of Biafra. The people of Biafra are being killed on a daily basis. Our lives and the properties are not safe in Nigeria because the value we share. And as it is today, they are imposing those values, their own values on the people of Biafra, the values that are very alien to the people of Biafra, to change our value and to conquer the people of Biafra, which we cannot accept.
And I want you to understand, I want the audience to also understand that even the man who created Nigeria, that is Frederick Lugard, after amalgamating the North and the South, he wrote a memo to the British government telling them that these people, these are indigenous people that have been amalgamated, that they are like oil and water that could never mix. Why did he say that? He said that because the Biafran people are Republicans. The people in the North, the Fulanis, they practice a Fudwa hegemony. Yes, feudalism. Whereas the people at the West, they practice a monarchical system, which means the three people are they have a divergent value system. So
so the three nations that make up Nigeria with different value system, they cannot live together.
Never.
And this practice, that is the amalgamation practice in the year 1914, that brought these three nations together with different value system, are endangering the life of the indigenous people of these regions in Nigeria. So the world now can see that Nigeria as a country has expired, because we implore you to check the amalgamation document, whether this amalgamation document is still valid or not. There are a lot of issues why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. There are so many political reasons.
And to what you have just said, because you have mentioned about the amalgamation document or something like that. I want to put it so succinctly to our audience that in 1914, after the amalgamation, Frederick Lugard, in his memo to the British government, where he told them that these people so amalgamated have different value systems, that they are like oil and water that can never mix.
Yes,
he said, and he told the British that they could try this experiment, because Nigeria is an experiment, for the British. So Frederick Lugard told the British that they should try this experiment for 100 years, of which, if after 100 years, if the indigenous people so amalgamated together could not make a viable nation, that they are free to go their separate way, to remain the way they were before the advent of colonialism.
I would like you to elaborate more and tell the world why you believe that Nigeria doesn't work.
Okay. Nigeria doesn't work. Even a blind man can see that Nigeria doesn't work. Could you imagine that Nigeria is a country of 100 and plus years now, but there is no electricity? Why? It is because the people amalgamated together have different ideas altogether. Why do you have a country of 100 years, you cannot formulate a policy that is geared towards the amelioration of the poverty of your citizenry? It is because Nigeria is never a country created by the British to work. Nigeria is a geographical area marked out by the British for exploitation and not to benefit the indigenous people that inhabit the land. So when you look at all these things, you know that Nigeria has never worked and will never work. It is only in Nigeria you see you have a budget, and at the end of the year, you will not see any significant development as a result of the budgetary allocation that have been made for the fiscal year.
So what you're saying is that Nigeria has nothing to show after 100 years.
Of course, Nigeria have nothing to show.
Okay.
Politically, socially, nothing.
Okay. Again, based on the come to the government under democracy, we have three arms of government, and these three arms of government in Nigeria, which they claim that they practice democracy. Can you tell the world or elaborate on how these three arms of government, whether they have failed or not?
Well, three arms of government: you have the executive, you have the legislature, and you have the judiciary.
Yes.
Now, in Nigerian executive arm of government, you can see that Nigeria executive arm of government has been a sort of a totalitarian government. Why do I say this? Is because in recent past, in this administration of Muhammadu Buhari, you can understand that the executive has become so powerful that it has pocketed both the judiciary and the legislature.
And now you are saying that judiciary and legislature have failed.
Of course,
they have collapsed.
Of course, they have collapsed, because if you come to Nigeria, you see their legislature, they have what they call a bicameral legislature. This bicameral legislature means you have the House of Senate and the House of Representatives. Go to Nigeria constitution, you discover that there is no law that has been passed to the effect of alleviating the sufferings of the poor people on the street. So what they are doing at the legislature, both houses of the legislature, is to go there to legislate on issues that is beneficial to their individual selfish interests.
Okay, now
so when you come to the judiciary, you are a witness to what is going on in
the judiciary. Has
you will see justice, injustice John Soho, you see injustice Bintanyako, you will discover that all these are corrupt judges. Yes. There is no there is no justice in Nigeria. Imagine that in Nigeria between 1967...
Because the executive is influencing the...
Of course.
The judiciary is no longer independent.
Of course, because what you see in the judiciary is just a kangaroo court. They are dishing out the fiat from the executive.
Yes.
Can you imagine that Nigeria fought a war in 1967 to 1970 whereby more than 4 million Biafrans were killed and some were starved to death. And until now, nobody was brought to justice. Even one person. And most of those killers are still walking the streets, gallivanting, calling themselves elder statesmen.
Which is very, very wrong.
Very wrong.
Nigeria has failed. As Mr. Carl already said, that Nigeria has failed. Why Nigeria, we say, and we are very sure that Nigeria has failed, is because Nigeria brought terrorism. Look at Boko Haram, look at Hezbollah, and all the rest of them. Yes, Nigeria brought terrorism. Nigeria brought exploitation of resources. Nigeria has nothing to show as development in Nigeria. Nigeria has nothing significant in their own method of government. So we say that Nigeria has failed. The government has failed because the three arms of government, the executive, is really oppressing these two other arms of government, the legislature and the judiciary. So as it is, we are going on a short break. When we come back, we are going to elaborate and talk more on the issue of the political reasons why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. Keep watching. This is the truth of the matter.
Freedom, freedom is what we want now. Calling the United Nations to set my people free. Calling the League of the Nations to set Biafra free. Lord no. Calling the African.
Welcome back to the truth of the matter. Today we are discussing why the people of Biafra want Biafra out of Nigeria. We are looking at the political point of view, why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. And we have already talked on how the Nigerian government failed, how the amalgamation document, whether it's valid or not. We have already talked on those issues, a lot of issues we have already discussed in the first segment of this program. So right now we are going to talk, we are going to look at the military, the security operatives in Nigeria, whether they have failed or not. We are also going to look at the national treaty or agreement, how Nigeria failed in those national agreements with the Biafra citizens. Therefore, Mr. Carl, the Nigerian government, as they are saying they are practicing democracy, we have already let the world know that the Nigerian government, the three arms of government have failed. They have failed the citizens woefully. Then, remember there was a war as well. What happened after the war? So right now, how about the Nigerian security operatives? Are they in good position to defend the citizens and their property or not? I want to know whether they have failed.
Well, before I go to your question, I want to put it so clear to our audience that why I want Biafra is because I am a Biafran.
I am a Biafran as well.
And nobody is a Nigerian.
I am a Biafran as well.
From the real sense of it, nobody is a Nigerian.
Of course.
That is the fact, and that is the truth of the matter. Okay, coming to the security agencies, I'll put it to our audience that since after the war of genocide levied on the people of Biafra by the British through their proxy Nigerian state, you will understand that the Nigerian security system or Nigerian security apparatus is ethnically colored. It has ethnic coloration. Why do I say this? Today, if you go to the contraption called Nigeria today, you discover that all the security apparatus is dominated by the Islamist fundamentalists from the Fulani extraction of the north. This is to tell you that even in my own local government or Hafia local government, the police commissioner that is in charge of my local government is a Fulani man. All the high-ranking security officers are dominated by the Islamist Northerners. They are not just Northerners or just Muslims, but they are Islamists. I want the world to understand this, because this security apparatus in Nigeria is the tool which the British has used right from 1967 till date to kill, to maim the indigenous people of Biafra. Like when you go to Aba, you discover that the police commissioner is a Muslim Northerner. When you go to Enugu, the police commissioner is a Muslim Northerner. When you go to Anambra, you will see that the police commissioner is a Muslim Northerner. Go to Ebonyi State, go to River State. Every part of Biafra land is occupied by the Islamists, with the cover under the camouflage of the Nigerian military or the Nigerian security outfits.
Mr. Kalago, sometimes or previously in Facebook and the other social media, the people of Biafra are saying that the Nigerian security system have been infiltrated by the Boko Haram and the herdsmen, and these people are known as terrorists. Is that true?
Yes, it is the truth. It is the truth, because in the year 1960, precisely on the 12th day of October 1960 in London, there was a man named Amadou Bello. He was the leader of the northern region in the 60s, before the independence. And this man, he granted an interview in London to the Parrot newspaper, where he said, and I quote, "This nation Nigeria created shall be to us the estates of our great-grandfather Uthman Danfodio. We shall vigorously prevent anybody from taking power or ruling over us, and we shall prevent them from having control over their destiny. We shall use the minorities in the north as a willing tool, and we shall use the south as a conquered territory." This is an interview that a northern leader gave to the Parrot newspaper in London, so just few days after independence of Nigeria.
So the sole aim of the coloration in the Nigerian security system
I'm still trying to give you the foundation why the security apparatus is being dominated by the Northerners. Okay. Or it is to tell you that there is an Islamic conquest agenda that is on the offing right from 1960. If you are a student of history, you will see in the 80s there was a group that came up, Islamist group, called the Maitasine. This Maitasine has the same purpose, agenda, and objective for Islamist conquest. Because if you come to the shores of West Africa, it is only in Biafra land where there is no influence of virulent Islam. So, right from 1960, they had planned, it is an age-long plan to make sure that they complete the conquering of Biafra land, which their great-grandfather Uthman Dan Fodio was unable to accomplish. So when you see today, you see herdsmen, you see Boko Haram, you see people coming out from the street with their machetes, the Fulanis killing people. It is a pre-planned agenda that was handed over to them by their great-grandfather to their grandfather and to themselves now. So as it is, you see that Nigerian military air force has been infiltrated by Boko Haram. If you could remember, immediately Muhammadu Buhari assumed office, the first thing he did was to take the central command of the Nigerian military to Maiduguri, the hotspot of Boko Haram. This is to confuse the general public. Nobody will know when all these people will be included into the Nigerian army. So when you see those people on their military fatigue on the streets, on roadblocks, extorting money from our people in Biafra land, it was for a purpose that they were stationed there because of the Islamist conquest, which is on their plan. Okay. Even the herdsmen, the people you call herdsmen, you see them, they are killing people on daily basis. Where do they get the AK-47? It is the Fulanis who are supplying them. Even there is a report on the media that they are being supplied with weapons, with aircraft and helicopters.
Okay, now Mr. Carl, thank you very much. The world, our audience, we are laying the foundation to prove to you that Nigeria has failed. According to Frederick Luca, the creator of Nigeria, the man that put the North and the South together and later called it Nigeria, he made it clear to the British government that they should watch over this amalgamation. After 100 years, if these people, due to that they have different value system, if these people failed to make a viable nation, that they can go to their separate ways. Now we have laid foundation that the Nigerian security system or operative, Nigeria security system have failed in Nigeria. Now they have been infiltrated, as Mr. Carl Abu said it, that they have been infiltrated by Boko Haram and the herdsmen. So they have failed. The Nigerian security system have failed. Therefore, instead of them to protect the people of Biafra, our life, instead of them to protect our properties, they are intimidating, killing for a particular agenda. The agenda is to conquer the people of Biafra, as their own grandfather gave them the authority when he was granted interview in United Kingdom. So, if you look at it, the Nigerian security system has failed. The Nigerian arms of government, the executive, legislature, and the judiciary, they have failed. We put it clear to you. The Nigerian security system have also failed. Now, Mr. Kalawu, how about Nigerian immigration? Because you can see rapid immigration of the people of Biafra. I didn't say rapid immigration, rapid immigration of the people of Biafra. They are running away on daily basis. Thousands of Nigerians, especially from Biafra extractions, are running away from Nigeria on daily basis. So, what do you say on the side of immigration? Do you have anything to contribute there?
Well, Mr. Moderator, I will stand here to tell you that if there is anywhere they call hellfire, it is Nigeria. Nigeria is hellfire. As long as you are a Biafran and you found yourself in Nigeria, you are in hell. Why do I say this? Is this? There is something they call quota system. This is a policy that was deliberately fashioned and implemented by the jihadist Fulanis who killed Agu Ironsi in 1966 and went ahead to levy the genocidal war on the Biafrans. After decimating our people, they became the lords that have been ruling Nigeria since then till today. And they implemented this quota system. What is the essence of this quota system? The essence of this quota system is that I myself, I am from Ohofia. Because of where I came from, if I want to enter into the Unity School of Nigeria, I will be required to score 138 points. Whereas Omaru, who is from Katsina or from Sokoto, is required under this policy to score only 4. That is to tell you that this policy is deliberately to enthrone mediocrity rather than merit. That is to tell you that if I have the merit to attend to the university, to the Unity School, I must score 138. Whereas someone who is from Fulani area will be expected to score 4. And I, from Ohofia, after trying all my best to score high and go to the university, at the end, I will not have any job to do. Why? Because that Omaru from Katsina who got 4 has already been accepted to become the managing director of any establishment, whereby if I will be employed, I will be under him. If really I will be given opportunity to have employment. So these are the reasons why you see our people running away from home, because the Fulanis, they planned it since 1970 so that our people, our able men, will not live at home, will run away and leave our home to them so that they will continue to exploit our resources and take over our women.
Thank you, Mr. Kalabu. Yes, Mr. Kalabu, really you are prepared to tell the world why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. The Biafrans are running away from Nigeria because of certain issues which he made it clear to our audience. Right now, there is Nigerian government have severally annulled a national agreement with the Biafran citizens. Can you shed more light on this issue?
Well, Nigeria is a fraud. Nigerian constitution is a fraud. Everything about Nigeria is a fraud. Nigeria has never kept any agreement. In January 1966, there was an agreement reached in Accra under the supervision of the then Ghanaian president, Joseph Ankara, and also supported by the African Union. This agreement was reached in Eburi in Ghana. And when Gowon returned to Nigeria, the British told them the implications of the agreement that they reached in Ghana, and they turned around and they reneged on that agreement. There has been series of constitutional conferences held, sponsored with taxpayers' money in Nigeria, but none of them were implemented. The recent one is in 2014, when the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, he convened a national conference. He convened that conference because he knew that the Nigeria amalgamation has expired, and they wanted to use that opportunity to convene a conference whereby the citizens, the indigenous people that make up the contraption, could come out and say, yes, 100 years has gone, now we want to renew our existence. But unfortunately, as clueless and useless as the former president could be, Jonathan, he said that there is a no-go area. That no-go area means you cannot discuss your existence. Could you imagine that after the conference, the result of the conference were also rubbish and put to the bin, to the dustbin of history? So that is to tell you that anybody today telling you he wants to reach an agreement with Nigeria on restructuring or anything, the person is joking, because Nigeria doesn't keep their part of agreement.
And that is how they kill the fate of Biafrans in Nigeria.
Yes, and also you will use this to estimate and look into Nigerian conduct towards the Biafran people. Do you know that in Biafra land there is no federal presence in Biafra land, except
the marginalization we are talking about?
I don't call it marginalization. When I see people say marginalization, I look at them and I laugh, because what we are facing in Nigeria is not marginalization in the real sense of it. What we face in Nigeria as a people, as Biafran people residing in Nigeria, what we are facing is slavery, modern day slavery. Do you know that in Biafra land, the only federal presence that you will see in Biafra land is prison service, police stations, and the military checkpoints? Do you know that in Nigerian constitution they have what they call concurrent list of power, exclusive list of power, and the residual list of power? What is the implications of this categorization of powers? It means that the federal government legislates on the exclusive list of power, whereas the states at the second tier of government legislates on the concurrent list of power. This concurrent list of power, it is not exercised only by the state, it is exercised by both the state and the federal government. So you find out that in this exclusive list, it is exclusively preserved for the federal government to give you electricity. That is why I, in Ohofia, I cannot generate electricity for myself unless I join the national grid.
Thank you, Mr. Kalawu. Thank you, Mr. Kalawu. Yes. I still have another issue here, Kala. I want you to put it succinctly to our audience and the world. The world have been asking questions. Why the people of Biafra want Biafra out of Nigeria? And of course, you are putting it very clear to the world, the reasons why we want Biafra out of Nigeria in political perspective. Yes. So now, Mr. Kalawu, we have issue of political injustice. Political injustice is a very bad thing. If you come to issue of political injustice, many things are involved. Therefore, do you have anything to say? Look at the agitations and so on. Do you have something to say? Tell our audience why political injustice in Nigeria is so bad, and as the reason why we want Biafra out of Nigeria.
Nigeria politically has unjustly treated the Biafran people. Take for instance, after the Civil War, they deceived our fathers. They said there is no victor, there is no conquer. And after the war in 1970, Gowon said that he wants to implement what he called 3 R's: reconciliation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. Do you know that those were just a theoretical pronouncement by the fraudulent Nigerian state? Because the 3R none was implemented in Biafra land. Rather, they went to Lagos and built Third Mainland Bridge. They went to Lagos and built the National Theatre, of which in Biafra land they have devastated. They bombed schools, they bombed hospitals, they bombed internally displaced people's areas in Biafra land. But after the war, none of these places were reconstructed. Now, today, when you say you want to opt out of the fraudulent Federation of Nigeria, they will take you and charge you for treasonable felony. That is part of the political.
And that is your right.
Yes, it is my right. It is enshrined under the African Charter on People and Human Rights. It is also enshrined in Chapter 20, Article 20 of the United Nations Charter.
Yes.
On the right of indigenous people for self-determination. But when in Nigeria, when you talk about self-determination, it is translated into treasonable felony. So, what we are saying in effect is this: political injustice in Nigeria is directed positively towards the Biafran people in order to stuntle any form of development that we may have. If you look at it, you see there is a political witch hunt on the people of Biafra. Our leader, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, he was unjustly arrested, abducted, incarcerated for almost 2 years without doing anything.
Those and who protested at the peak of the protest, they were killed.
These are the political injustices. You see, as we are talking now, there is a man called Ifeanyi Oba. He's an oil merchant, and he's under incarceration as we speak now because the Fulani, they want to stuntle anybody who comes out to do progress. So these are the political injustices that the people of Biafra have been subjected to by the British, and the world turn a blind eye to the plight of the Biafra people. And this injustice must stop.
Must stop, of course. Thank you very much, Mr. Kalago. Of course, the political injustice in Nigeria against the Biafrans is too much. Look at the Biafrans when they are protesting. The Nigerian security operatives will kill them, maltreat them, put in the prison. The Biafrans are being castrated for demonstrating or exercising their right. Look at the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, as you said. A lot of Biafrans are still in the prison for no just cause. These are the people who are exercising their right. Now, Mr. Kalago, in summary, what do you tell the world as to reason why you want Biafra out of Nigeria?
Well, the reason why I want Biafra is, one, to have control over my destiny. Two, to protect our lives and properties, because our lives is under threat right from the time that we amalgamated in Nigeria. And three, I want Biafra because nobody is a Nigerian. We are Biafrans right from the origin. Biafra is our identity, and we want to have control over our destiny and our identity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kalago. Of course, you are a Biafran. Nobody is a Nigerian. Myself as well, I am a Biafran. And I want Biafra because I want to preserve my value, the value we share, and want to preserve it for this present and the future generation. I also want to support the world civilization. I also want to protect my life and my property as a Biafran. There was nothing like Nigeria, and there should be nothing like Nigeria. We are coming to the end of this program. In our next program, we are going to talk on the reason why we want Biafra in the economic point of view of why we want Biafra out of Nigeria. We hope that you are going to be with us in the next program. Thank you.
Biafra freedom, freedom is what we need now. Freedom, freedom is what we want now. Biafra freedom, freedom is what we need now. Freedom, freedom is what we want now. Calling the United Nations to set my people free. Calling the League of the Nations to set Biafra free. Lord no. Calling the African Union, talk about my freedom. I'm calling the folk on the south this world to set Biafra free. Lord, for so long now